There are so many places to ride in the United States, but in my opinion, there's only one best place, and that is Idaho. I mean, Iowa. With massive mountain ranges, great deserts, and amazing scenery, this place is absolute paradise for off-road enthusiasts.
Sunshine beating on the good times, moonlight rising from the grave. String band playing worn out honky tonks, pretty young thing going dancing in the rain.
So if you're from out of state, especially from California, make sure you check out McCallsburg, Iowa, for the most amazing riding you'll ever see.
Chewing on a cigarette pack of young boys going howling at the moon. Hey darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey darling, leaving for the next town. Listen, my sense catches up with me. Three dead in a crash on a number 4. 2 witnesses blowing up high.
But if you can't make the drive here, be sure to check out the videos and enjoy the ride. Here I'm in Featherville, Pine area. This is a really nice place to ride and one that I have yet to explore until I made this video. I cleared this entire trail with my handsaw that I just carry in my backpack, although I would recommend definitely carrying a chainsaw up in these areas, especially this time of year. But normally I don't, just because I've been racing so much, and really I don't want to get used to the chainsaw on the bike and then, go to the races and have it feel weird. I think I'm pretty much done racing at this point for this year, so I'm probably going to mount a chainsaw mount on the bike and try to get a chainsaw on there. But yeah, this is a really pretty area. Everything's nice and green this time of year. It rained a lot a couple days before this, so the soil was absolutely perfect. So the reason I'm doing a voiceover today is because the camera that I use, the DJI Osmo Action 3, was really giving me trouble with the microphone settings. It's really blowing out the gain, and it's really unstoppable. I've tested it in all different kinds of ways with all different kinds of settings, and I've come to the conclusion that after a lot of research that this camera just does not like anything except for the DJI brand wireless microphone. So in future videos, I'm going to be back to using the Sony action camera, and then when I do use the DJI action cam, I'm going to have to be using the Bluetooth wireless mic. I've been hesitant to do that in the past for several reasons. One, the transmitter plugs into the action camera, and the transmitter just doesn't look that durable to me, smacking in the branches and stuff like that. I just don't know how durable that's going to be. And also the receiver end of it, it's wireless, and I haven't really thought of a good way to stick it in my helmet and have it stay there. So it's going to be an interesting setup for sure, but I think I'm going to have to figure it out in order to get good audio out of this setup. I'll get it done either way, and I'm still using the Sony action cam until then, but like today I just went out on the DRZ and tested out the audio, and just completely blown out audio. Sounds terrible. So instead of putting you guys through that, I figured I'd put you through some more of my annoying voice on the voiceovers. Got to give you some narration somehow, and I guess this is a pretty decent way to do it.
Corn liquor tastes sweeter in this town. Could it be it's the same as the lies? I swear I've seen your face elsewhere before, just as familiar as a bottle in a glass. Hey darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey darling, leaving for the next town. Listen, my sense catches up with me. Hey darling, sleeping on the blacktop. Hey darling, running through the trees, honey. Hey darling, leaving for the next town. Listen, my sense
went all the way back down to the bottom of the trail, and this is what I'm doing here in this video. Once I get to the trailhead, the entrance of the trail, I realized that I left my drone up at the end of the trail where I had been flying, and I landed it. There's a lot to keep track of, especially when you're dealing with camera issues and SD cards and mics and all that stuff. I totally forgot the drone. I had to do this entire trail over again, which is really not a big deal. I mean, it was a pretty fun ride. No complaints here, though. It was pretty fun. The weather was pretty much perfect the entire Memorial Day weekend. But here, this trail is, it's a really good combination of flowy and technical. It was a really, really nice trail to go down. And like I said, I was able to clear the entire thing just with my handsaw because this part of the forest is really green. And usually if there hasn't been any kind of fire gone through there, the forest is pretty durable. Normally, the smaller stuff will get toppled over by heavy snow. This forest has been here a long time. It's not going anywhere as long as it's green, so for the most part anyway. So that's kind of the trick if I'm going to be using just a handsaw. I usually try to stay in the green stuff, which is getting harder and harder. All the areas are getting to be pretty burnt just because of dry lightning strikes and that kind of thing. It's usually natural. Yeah, I was really appreciative of the trail clearer that I ran into up here. It was nice to meet that guy and hang out with him, ride with him a little bit. It's nice to know that people are out there clearing the trail, and I would definitely like to be one of them for sure. I want to do more work to keep these trails open. Too many of them have been shutting down, so I definitely want to help do my part. And I think it's probably just an inevitability. I don't know that there's anything we can really do in order to stop the trail closures. As far as I'm concerned, I just think that fundamentally there's nothing wrong with anything that we're doing out here on the trails. That includes going around deadfall. When you go around deadfall, you're not hurting anything extra. You're just switching the trail from one side of the deadfall to another. There's really nothing wrong with it fundamentally. The only problem is with the political climate that we are in currently, it makes it a little bit tough. You have to make a decision whether you just want to break the rules and have it come back on you right away, or you can follow the rules perfectly and it will still come back on you, in my opinion. It's still going to get closed down, but it'll take a lot longer. So that's kind of where I'm at on this stuff. If I was king of the land, I would just say go ride, do what you want. And in that case, all the trails would be very, very primitive, hard to see trails that would be very much a part of nature, kind of like this one. This one does not receive enough traffic. And honestly, that's kind of the opinion that I have taken for a long time now, is that a lot of these trails just don't get enough traffic. Even if our population is increasing in Idaho, a lot of the people coming in are just going to be parking lot pirates. They're not going to put in the time and effort and skill level to come out and really push it by going down trails like this. I mean, it really takes a different type of rider to come out and do trails like this one. So I'm not saying it's really that difficult, but it still takes a lot of forethought. Even to find the trail, you have to go out of your way just to find trails like this one. In fact, I almost didn't hit this one because it was really hard to find as far as the entrance to it. A few snowdrifts here and there, nothing real major. Right here I'm mentioning that the deer tracks go over the top of my motorcycle track, which is pretty cool. In these woods, lots of wildlife, especially since it's so green and there's lots of water nearby. The wildlife, it's so present that when you stop, you can always see movement. If you just kind of relax your eyes and look straight ahead, you're always going to see movement. There's always a different animal watching you, usually small ones. Usually the bigger ones want to get away from you quicker than the smaller ones. The small ones feel safe in their little homes. The drive out to this location is pretty scenic. You go to Mountain Home, which that part is not scenic. You have to take the freeway to that point. But once you get off of the freeway, it's fairly scenic, and you're right next to the water a lot of times. And yeah, it's a really nice drive all the way in. From where I live, it's really not a far drive in comparison to a lot of places anyway. The two-stroke is running pretty good in this video, although I need to adjust the power valve settings again. The power valve's a little bit wonky. I think I've lost some bottom end on this bike ever since I flooded it or drowned it a long time ago. Definitely felt a lack of off-idle torque, and no matter what I've done, clean the carburetor, I just can't figure it out. There's a tiny bit of off-idle torque missing off of this bike. It's very evident when I ride other people's bikes, but generally, I mean, when you listen to it run, it sounds really good, but it's still missing that little hit off of idle. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching the video, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.